Welcome to the Better Brave podcast, where you get to hear unique stories from guests like you who choose to live bravely outside of their comfort zones. I'm Candace Dudley, your host, former teacher turned online business mentor and podcaster. This podcast is for you if you're committed to living life on purpose, no more following the rules of society. Go hit the follow button if you haven't yet, and tune in every Tuesday for a new episode. Honestly, this episode is just going to be an open chat with you. I'm just going to be open, and if you want to write me back, email me, DM me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, I'm all for it. I would love to know how you're doing. How the heck are you doing now that the kids have gone back to school? We're transitioning into fall. I don't know about you, but all summer long, I was trying to enjoy my time with the kids. Summer is kind of like my gardening, homesteading era. I like to can some food and things like that. I actually hopefully have my last pot of tomato sauce boiling down right now on the stove to can, literally right now, because that's what you get to do when you're a solopreneur. You can do random shit on random days, and it is a Monday. In all honesty, I was telling myself all summer, we're going to get back to the grindstone with work, really hit it hard. And I kind of had things going throughout the summer, but I didn't spend a lot of time on it. My kids were home all summer, so it's not the most conducive working environment. And so I was like, yes, when they go back to school, we're going to hit it hard. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be so excited. And they went back on Thursday. This is airing on Tuesday, so it's been, whatever. Fourth school day they've been gone. And I find myself not wanting to record this podcast. Actually, I did record it last week. I didn't edit it right away, and that's usually my sign that I didn't love what came out, or it just didn't feel quite right. And I always try to say, like, somebody needs to hear my message. That's why I let the words fall out. And sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I always tell my guests and everybody, someone needs to hear what we're going to say, what we're going to talk about. So let's just do it. Let's be brave. Let's get over our nerves and just do it. It's kind of what I'm doing here today. Just sharing the real raw truth that I recorded this once. This is going in a whole different direction than what that was recorded. And so I'm just going to trust that this today, what I say, is the message that somebody needed to hear. And that me sharing, kind of the messiness of the last few days of this transition, you think it's going to be seamless. Okay. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like, I thought I would just boom, jump back into work mode. And I found myself just like needing a hot minute to transition, to tie up some of those loose ends in the garden. And there was so much mental chatter, and all of a sudden now the kids are in fall sports, and I got to make sure I'm signed up for all of them and get them to the right places, and don't miss any of those emails of when practice is or if it's changed. And just take a breath, give yourself a little grace. It's been 4 days since they've been back to school. I'm recording this on a Monday, literally the day before I want to air it, because I hadn't aired a couple episodes now for a few weeks. And I'm totally okay with that because the kids were still home, and I wanted to honor that time. But also, I was using it as a little bit of a crutch and an excuse. It doesn't take me that long to record these episodes. It doesn't take me that long to edit them and get them published up onto Buzzsprout where I host them. And so I truly could have, but I was using that as an excuse. And that's one thing I want to talk about today is excuses. And I kind of want to flip it because, well, first of all, the excuse gets to stop being an excuse whenever you decide to stop letting it be the excuse, which is really the great part about it. It can seem so big and so heavy in your head, but as soon as you choose to go for that walk, maybe you haven't been doing any movement and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling good, speaking from experience. And you get to stop the excuse of not doing your workout or not getting a movement in the second that you decide to go for that walk or wherever. And that momentum is going to start rolling in your favor. Just like I get to decide today to hit record on this podcast and stop saying that it's an excuse that I don't feel it, or I don't think I have anything to share right now, or the kids are home and I'm just not going to do it. You can just choose. So that's one side of it. The flip side is we use excuses, but I also want to remind us that we don't need the excuse. It's totally okay for me to not air a podcast episode for 2 weeks. It's totally okay probably for whatever you've been waiting on that's been in your mind taking up space for you just not to do it right now. It is not necessary to have an excuse about it, and you don't owe anyone an excuse. You don't even owe it to yourself. You can decide and you get to change your mind, and that's the beauty of being human. It's okay. And it sometimes doesn't feel okay, but it is okay to say, I didn't want to do that right then. I didn't want to do that for those 2 weeks. Now, today, I do want to do this. So the overall arching message and that messy message of my messy life right now is this feels like a time of transition every year in this season when we're just switching from summer vibes into fall and school and back to our goals and finishing the year strong and blah, blah, blah. But don't forget to have some grace along the way. It's also a time where I think we can really, as women, mothers, caretakers of a lot of things and people, we can look back and reflect on the summer and start to think I didn't do enough with my kids, or I should have visited this friend more. I should have this, should have that, should have whatever, and I didn't do enough. And that is not helping you. It's not helping me. It's not serving anybody. It's not helping the kids, period. You did enough. Just take that to heart. You truly turn the mean girl in your head down. Tell her to back up. We don't need her right now because you did enough. You did enough. You did the exact right amount for you and your family and your kids and people in your life. You did enough. You did your best and you did what you could do. And now don't try to say, well, I could have done better. Maybe that wasn't my best. Listen, then do better going forward, but we're not going to beat ourselves up for what happened in the past. We can't fix that. You can only make changes in the future. But I'm telling you, most likely, if you're someone that's listening to a podcast because you're trying to better your life, you are on this growth type mission, then you're the kind of person that's just being hard on yourself, and you did actually do plenty and you did enough. Okay? Take that to heart, please. And the last bit I'll leave you with is a couple reflection things, because I feel like this is a great time to edit our lives. It's so easy to let something new get put on our plate and just keep adding to our plates and our schedules. And I'm feeling it too, especially with kid number 2 now, old enough to be in sports, and it is feeling a little full. But this is a great time to do a quick edit. Next time you're driving in your car, or when you're done with this podcast, maybe journal, or maybe just sit and think in the shower, or wherever you have a quiet space and a quiet moment to think, what is going to stay and what is going to go? Because this is a good time to take things off of our plate. This is a good time to just take a little look and see what's still aligned. This is also a really great time if you are someone who has goals or you have dreams, whatever word you like to use there, take a look at those. And I'm going to do that too, because we could be different people than we were a month ago, even 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago when we potentially wrote these down. So some things might not be aligned anymore, and it is okay, because we get to change our mind with no rhyme or reason. It's totally okay for us to use our women's intuition and be like, yep, that's not aligned anymore. Nix it. Or maybe it needs to be adjusted. Maybe we need to let go of the time and the control that we want to have over this particular goal, this time schedule that we think it needs to happen within, and let go of that piece. Maybe there's some adjustments that you can make with your goals and your dreams and your desires where you can kind of edit those as well. And then lastly, what kind of actions do you need to be taking in order to have those goals and dreams come true? Is there enough space in your life for that to happen? Do you have enough time for that? There's only so much time in a day. You can kind of then adjust things in this season depending on the importance, depending on your priorities, and you can make adjustments of what does take precedent today and in the next month and in the next weeks, right? Just some reflections for you to think about. I hope that you don't relate to my messy story of how I've been feeling the last few days, but I think I'm coming out of it. I think I'm feeling the clarity. I've been trying to give myself grace. I've been going on walks. I've been letting myself, do my last bits of canning, and knowing that I am still showing up on social media. I am still showing up here, and you can just choose to show up as best you can. You don't have to have this perfect journey of what you think other people's social media looks like. And I'll leave you with a point and a reminder that if you are on social media and you are feeling some kind of way about seeing your bestie and the 50 camping trips that her and her family went on this summer, and you only did 10, and you're feeling bad about that, maybe we need to pause some people on social media or even unfollow some people. You can click that little button that you can stay friends with them and then just not see their content. I highly recommend that, because it's a you thing. It's not them. It's just you're feeling triggered, and it is okay to take care of yourself. And that's one way you can do that. Just eliminate some of those things that are triggering right now until you don't feel triggered by it anymore, because it's not fun to just be on social media feeling triggered and feel like you're not enough. So edit your life. Shoot me a message. Let me know how you're feeling. Are we in the same boat? Are you feeling different than that? Is this an all of us type of thing? Are we all in this together? I like to think that we are, because, that's more fun than thinking that you're all on this island alone. Okay. Peace out. Hey, thanks for being here. I love being able to highlight entrepreneurial journeys because no two are the same. To grab my free sales page planner or to book a discovery call with me, head to the show notes. Finally, please leave a quick review so I can continue this work. See you next week.